Good morning, families. Welcome back to the American Family Survival Network. I'm your host, Jeffrey Snipes. We have another excellent article here from the USCCA, the United States Concealed Carry Association, our premier affiliate at the American Family Survival Network. This is by Duncan Mackie, and these are true stories, October 2016. Then the robber became irate that the cash register had less money than he expected and got careless. Pennsylvania pharmacist stops armed robbery. When an armed man entered a Waynesboro pharmacy and demanded money and oxycodone, the pharmacist and employees present dutifully complied. Then the robber became irate that the cash register had less money than he expected and got careless. He put his gun down. That gave the pharmacist the chance to retrieve his own legal pistol to shoot the robber, wounding him and ending the incident. WPMT Fox 43, York, Pennsylvania. South Carolina, store clerks defend against enraged armed attacker. After banging on an open store door in Oriental, an enraged man entered and began attacking the two clerks inside. Fearing for their lives, one clerk retrieved a pistol from behind the counter and fired on the intruder, wounding him and putting him to flight. Responding police found him at a nearby home where he had threatened residents. The subject was arrested and transported to a local hospital for treatment of his gunshot wounds. No charges were filed against the store clerk, who was defending himself and his fellow clerk. That's from ammoland.com. Texas man fights off armed intruder. A Houston man was entering the apartment he shared with several roommates when an unknown assailant accosted him outside the door and forced his way into the residence while being held at gunpoint by the assailant, who announced a robbery. One of the roommates was able to take up a pistol he kept in the apartment and fire on the robber, putting him to flight. One roommate was injured when the robber returned fire as he was fleeing the scene. That's from the Houston Chronicle in Texas. Georgia wheelchair-bound vet defends against home invasion. Hearing noises in his Monticello home one evening, a Vietnam vet in a wheelchair went to investigate. That's when he discovered a young man had unlawfully entered the residence via a back door. When the intruder lunged at him, the vet fired, hitting the intruder and putting him to flight. The home invader collapsed and died of a single shot to the chest about 100 yards from the residence, where he was found by responding police. That's from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution in Georgia. Another Pennsylvania pharmacist stops armed robber. Thanks to a good surveillance system he had recently installed, a Levittown pharmacy owner saw a man armed with a shotgun approaching his store. When the armed man entered his pharmacy, the pharmacist covered him with a pistol and ordered him to freeze multiple times. When the would-be robber charged the pharmacist rather than comply, the druggist fired on the intruder, emptying his pistol of 12 rounds. After reviewing the case, the local district attorney cited the pharmacist for his courageous action and performance of a public service in stopping the robbery. That's from Breitbart.com. Okay, so Mississippi homeowner frightens off prowler. Hearing their doorbell ring, homeowners checked their surveillance camera system and found an unknown man prowling around the property, looking into windows and trying to enter the garage. Taking up a pistol, the homeowner encountered the man in the front yard and told him to leave the property, which he did. Responding police praised the homeowner for his restraint. Taking up a pistol, the homeowner encountered the man in the front yard. The Clarion and Ledger, that's out of Jackson, Mississippi. Florida homeowner thwarts nighttime home invasion. Hearing the sound of their front door being forced, a Flagler County homeowner took up a pistol when he went to investigate. On opening the door, he saw a handgun pointed at his head. He instinctively fired 2 shots at his assailants, hitting one and putting the other to flight. The injured burglar died at the scene while his accomplice is still sought by authorities. That's from the Daytona Beach News Journal out of Florida. California resident stops home invasion with firearm. A Rio Del man heard unusual noises at the rear of his house one evening. Taking up a gun for protection and to investigate, he encountered a strange man who had broken in through a rear window. Fearing for his life, he fired on the intruder, wounding him in the leg. The homeowner held the burglar at gunpoint for responding police. That's out of the Lost Post Outpost in Rio del California. Next story comes to us from Georgia. Georgia jewelry clerk foils robbery attempt. Quick and cool thinking by an Atlanta jewelry store clerk saved the day recently. When an armed man entered the store and announced a robbery, the clerk drew a gun from under the counter and fired on the robber, hitting him and causing him to flee the scene, only to collapse a short distance away. Responding police transported the robber to a nearby hospital where he succumbed to his wounds. The store clerk acted in self-defense and will not be charged. This is from the Chattanooga Times, Free Press in Tennessee. Okay, and next story comes to us from Oregon. Oregon mother shoots home invader. A Portland woman returning home early one morning with her children found an intruder in her daughter's bedroom. Fearing for her life and that of her children, she fired on the man, hitting him once and killing him. Police have no motive for the break-in. That's from KGW Channel 8 out of Portland, Oregon. And the next story here, homeowner stops home invasion. Hearing what sounded like his front door being kicked in early one morning, a Wilson homeowner shouted to the home invader to stop. When the home invader failed to do so, the homeowner fired several times through the door, striking the burglar and ending the crime. The suspect later died of his wounds at a local hospital. Prosecutors are declining to bring charges against the homeowner. That's from WITN TV News in Greenville, North Carolina. So, folks, as you can see, these situations where we need to defend ourselves and our families do occur, and they occur when we least expect them to. So please become a responsible gun owner and get educated and get insured by the United States Concealed Carry Association today. You'll see a link in the description of this video that will connect you to an excellent overview of the United States Concealed Carry Association. Please become a member today. And please, for all your family's emergency and survival needs, go to the AmericanFamilySurvivalStore.com. And remember to always protect and safeguard your family. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Fear not. God bless. And thank you so much. Let's make it a great day.